to the Lewis Nichols Show, and I'm really excited to bring on my next guest because this has kind of been a few months in the making to get this to happen. So let's say hello to Foss. How are you?
Yes, my brother. How are you, Lewis? I'm good,
Good,
thank
man.
you.
You good?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on, bro. Come on, man.
I mean, one of my questions actually was, what does obviously Foss stand for? But you literally just said it before we came on, freedom of speech. So
Yeah,
tell us
go
about
on.
that and kind of, calling yourself that and the reason behind that.
To be honest, with it, I was called Plangy at first when I was like 16, 17. And I was linking up with two or three of my mates that we'd make music with. So it was like Raigwan and JG, two lads from Scunthorpe. And then I was called Plangy back then, which is my last name, Plange, with an extra E on the end. And then after a while, I was starting to get bored of it and thinking it needs to be something that means something. And then to be fair, JG, which is Josh, he kind of like brought it up in a conversation and it was just perfect. I was like, it has to be that. It has to be. And I feel like it was a bit off influenced by JME as well, in my opinion, because it's like, I liked the way his name was Jamie, but JME, it was like three letters. I just did three letters with a meaning.
And well, one thing I wanted to talk to you about is kind of where your love and your passion from music actually came from. Like, can you remember that moment when you were like, yeah, do you know what, I want to do this? And that connection to it.
Obviously, I love music since I was a kid, like playing guitar, a bit on the piano, performing here at school and stuff, but it was never serious. It was just fun. So I feel like when I came on YouTube and I typed in Grime Clashes when I think I must have been 16, 17. And then I seen Words of Weapons from Chronicle. Big up Chronicle, man. He smashed it from day, man, to be fair. He created the platform. He had a very good pedestal and a place to do it at in Manchester, and it was popping. And I feel like that made me feel like, yeah, this is it. And then that's how I became part of the scene, I guess, from Words of Weapons, which is crazy, man.
What did your family think of that as well? Because I know sometimes when you say, I want to do this, I want to do that, and it's not a kind of generic job, families kind of struggle with that. So were they supportive of you, or did they try and get you to go to a different avenue?
I feel like, well, at one point, I've had family members say I've had my head in the clouds and stuff like that, thinking that I'm crazy with what I'm doing. And then my mum's always supported from day one. Do you know what I mean? That's what I rate, because like my mum backs it, always shared it from the start. And obviously grandparents is a bit of a funny one, because I want my granddad to see me doing well with the music. So obviously I've done TV and stuff like that, but every time I see him, he's like, "How? Where's the money from music and stuff like that?" Do you know what I'm saying? So it's one of them. But with me, I make it for myself, and it's not just a hobby; it's life. Do you know what I'm saying? So whether I make it or not, I believe I will, and I can see it happening. I can already see exactly how it would happen and will. But regardless whether it does or it doesn't, I love making music. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'll continue to.
Do you know, with you, when I first discovered you online and your music, with a lot of artists, you listen to a track that they put out there, and you might like the beat, you might like some of the lyrics, and it's nice to listen to. But with you, and I've mentioned this to you before, you actually feel your connection to your own lyrics when listening to your stuff. And I think that's such a powerful part of you as an artist, because that's rare to get that across to people. I mean, where do you think that stems from, that that you've got the ability to do that?
I appreciate that a lot, bro. I think it depends, bro, because I guess it's not every song that feels like that, but I can obviously, there's a few that I watch back over the years, and then I get my goosebumps off my own stuff, and then I'm like, oh shit, like that's where I'm proud at that moment. So I feel like when I've been going through a certain situation at the time, and that's what I'm talking about. I think there was a moment, like when we'll go back to when you said about starting music. Obviously, the clashing was there and it was a hobby, but I feel like when this one lass like got rid of me when I was young, it was like at that point I was like, right, because obviously she loved the music and Wiley and people like that, and at this point I was like, right, watch, you don't even know what you've just got rid of, if that makes sense. And it was like it sparked a fuse in me, and then I was like, you're gonna see me everywhere. And at that point, it carried on an effect. So I just kept running and running with it. I had loaded the mics in my head. So that's what I was going for at the time with that. So it could be even a few breakups, I guess, make me feel certain ways, and then I'm passionate about what I'm doing, very passionate. So that's part of it as well. And I guess with life, there's many ups and downs in it. So every time there's an up, I'll make a certain uppy track, which maybe you won't feel as much, but it's more of a vibe. And then when I'm down, I guess you can either relate to it or you can feel the emotions more, I think.
Mate, with the breakup stuff, I mean, it's like you're the male Adele. Like you can make an album just like with tracks aimed at some of your exes. That could be
Yeah, that's it, man.
no, but you know, how does that process work when it comes to actually writing? Like, do you have to like do you, if you get an idea, do you have to put a little bit into your phone and then work on it from there, or does it just come in one go? Like, how does that whole process work?
My thing now is like, um since I got the my own mic and stuff, which was, it's been years now. I've had it for a good 7 8 years now. I've had a mic. I think for since having the mic, been finding different, like, how do I explain that one? It's like if I'm on my own and I've got my headphones on and I can hear myself and it's a good quality, and it's like you can experiment with so many things. Whereas if I was in studio with the people that I was working with before who would engineer all my stuff, sometimes, well, most of the time it didn't sound how I thought it would sound. And then I'm awkward because I'm in the room with someone as well who I don't really know that well. So at this point, I'd go in with pre-writtens and I'd know it all, obviously, when I go in there. Whereas now, if I was to record today, I'd find a beat that I like, I'd put the headphones on, I'd hear myself, and I'd just do it bit by bit, however it sounds good. So I don't really write, it's just how I'm feeling at the time. That's why I know if I'm happy, it's going to be a bouncy tune, and if I'm sad, then it's going to be like that. It's not like planned, it's just how I am at the time.
Do you know, and again, because we've spoke quite a bit on Insta and stuff before the interview, and you know, I've said to you before that you're very versatile as an artist because you know you listen to some of your tracks and then suddenly you've got like a completely different vibe going that could almost be mainstream, you know, in the charts as well. So you've kind of covered every single avenue. And do you like the fact that you're versatile and you don't just stick to one specific kind of genre?
Yeah, I love. Do you know what it is, bro? It's like sometimes I guess you look at it and think, oh, if I could go back and do this and do that, I'd do this different and that different. But then at the same time, I'm just being myself 24/7. So it's whatever I feel that day. Whereas it's like, for example, if I started today and I imagine I've rapped all these years, I've never put a song out. Obviously, today I'd put a mask on and just go mad on drill, and it'd be cold, and I'd talk about life experiences and things like that. But it's like I'm just glad that I've been myself and I'll stay myself, and I do still believe very strongly that it's gonna work, and it's because I've got good intentions. I'm out to help as many people as I can, and yeah, I think there's going to be many people that relate. And love and hate are always going to be on the planet. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
heartbreak. So
This is like a really random question just to chuck in an interview. But if I was to ask you so far in your life, what would you say your biggest challenge has been? What would you say?
um,
It's kind of a Piers Morgan style question right there, but yeah.
without, well, with it'd be more. I think my challenging part was like my parents' breakup, bro. That was the challenging part as a kid. But then I feel like since then life was like different. Like I was kind of enjoying everything, just going. I was going with the flow, and then I think it's learning to be on a camera, bro, as well. Do you know the TV show?
Yeah,
That
the
one
rap
a bit
game.
mad. But like yeah, whatever. They asked us if we wanted psychiatrists as well, and we're like, yeah, all of us laughing at it pretty much at the time. And it's like we went on there. It's a completely different lifestyle. I mean, the cameras are there most of the day, and you get some time at night before you're sleeping, and you wake up and they're there again. And it's for me, I'm being myself, so it's like I'm a bit like what's the word? I'm shy, or I get like I don't talk as much around people I don't know. So these are new people to me. All the camera people are new. I'm thinking, right, people are watching me on TV, and then I can see people acting different when the cameras are on and things like that. So at this point, it's like, right, this is my life for however long now, and then that was the most challenging thing throughout the whole time living there, even though it was amazing at the same time. And then coming out as well and coming back to reality without any kind of deal or anything secure, that was a bit of a mad one as well, because like I said, once you've been gone for quite a while and then you're jumping on a train with all your stuff back to reality, where you even living at that point? Do you know what I'm saying? Because you've been gone, you're just doing your thing like that. It's a weird one, bro. So that was a mad one, I think, for TV. Yeah.
You know, you mentioned obviously with the TV show, you were seeing people when the cameras were on. They're kind of
Yeah.
different on camera than when they're off. And you know, you mentioned earlier that you're just doing you and being kind of yourself. So did you struggle when you saw people were almost a character? Were you kind of like, hang on, what's that about? Because that's not the same person I've been chatting to with the cameras on.
Yeah, and also it's like, and when I've been around them then for so long, it's like, and then you know what they're like when they're happy or when they're excited or when they're angry or when they're sad. To then see a complete different person on a camera, then you know it's put on. Whereas it's like, I also watch back and wish I could have been my happy self, which I am. Which is like, even now, obviously, we're having a conversation, boys, because I've not really spoke to you like this. I've spoke to you on message and things like that, but I feel like for me to come out my shell, it takes a while. Or maybe even, I didn't drink before TV. I've never drunk in my life. And then after that, I started drinking Magnums and stuff, do you know, quite a lot, frequently, anytime I go anywhere, bro. Because then I'm myself and I'm talkative, like proper outgoing, who I actually can be. That's what I wanted to be on TV as well at the same time. So yeah, it's mad. That's with the music, that's a hard part to it. And we met NSG on the show, and then I remember one of the guys was very, very shy, but he wasn't the main character, if that makes sense. He's good, great musician, he's part of it, obviously, but he wears shades every single time that anywhere they go, and it's like this anxiety that the guy has. So I guess he would never have been able to have been this solo artist, if that makes sense. So just wait there 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
Cats that live in this house, bro, they meow like mad.
You what? Sorry.
They got like 5 cats there. I'm living right now, bro. 5 of them. But yeah,
you know, the reason I asked you the question about your biggest challenge in life is because when I listen to your tracks, you always get the impression that just because of how raw I find your vocals so raw, and you feel like it's coming somewhere deeper, and that's why I kind of asked you, because I get the impression that you've been through a lot and you've been knocked down, but you always get back up and you have that fighter kind of mentality. So that's kind of where I was going with that, because you give that across in your music.
yeah, I get, I get what you're saying, man. It's like, I get, another thing is like, I guess with things that I could touch on and talk about, which I've wanted to for years, well, have and then haven't, or I've even made the tracks and will never put out. Because obviously my laptop's full of them, bro. I mean, it's full of tracks where I feel like I won't drop certain ones because they ain't got videos, and then they need marketing and things like that. But there's so many where I've done too much to even keep up with. But I think the things I'd want to touch on as well, I have respect for the people that have put me through turmoil, if that makes sense, still. So it's like, at this point, things I could talk about that people would relate to, I don't want to pull people down, because it's like we're kind of past all that. So it's like that. I guess that a lot of people say things like, oh, yo, my mum was this, my dad was that, or my uncle, or my, do you know what I'm saying? They go deep on them, but it's like they've got to a point in their life where there's no going back, and I'm never going to speak to that person again. Whereas I like to try to be a bigger person as well. So I guess if I've got vibes and I'm a musician that people are going to love regardless, I don't need to expose my own family and things like that, you know, and friends and stuff. So,
you know, you saying that you respect, you know, those kind of people almost that have put you through tough situations. Is that because you see it as a positive, because it helped you grow, it helped you get stronger, it helped you kind of deal with those things better?
there is that, but then at the same time, I still like, there's, what's the word? I don't know. Like I said, the people that have done me dirty, certain people I won't speak to again, because I'm just not there anyway, and I won't cross their paths. But yeah, especially if it's family, I'll always speak to them. And then I've had other family that don't speak to, like, for example, my uncle doesn't speak to my grandma, and it's like watching her heartbroken throughout life. It doesn't he obviously holds a grudge for something. I could go into details, but I won't. But obviously, he holds a grudge about something, whereas I would see it as not that bad. And even if it was that bad, I'd never still not speak to that person again. But yeah, so it's more like that, I guess. It's seeing what it's done to my grandma with that. I wouldn't then go and do the same thing. So,
No, I get
but
you.
there's loads I could talk about, bro. It's a madness. But at the same time, I've got tunes where what I'm happy to talk about, which I know people can relate to anyway.
Well, I'll wait for them to come out without kind of spoiling what will be coming out in your music. You know, when it comes to another question I want to ask you, when it comes to releasing a song, obviously I know like you work so hard, like the process behind it, not only just with the music but the videos as well. So when it comes to putting out a finished product, do you get nervous because that's going out to people? You're gonna have people's comments, critiques, and that song obviously means a lot to you. So when it comes to putting it out there, do you get those feeling like, oh shit, this is a bit kind of nerve-wracking?
I'm nervous every single time, bro, because I get maybe not as much now, but I think after the TV, because do you know when you hit certain numbers, bro, they either need to go up or be maintained. And at my point, they've gone down, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Because no one can deny there's a clout behind, obviously, there's clout behind TV. So it's like when I've dropped certain songs around when TV's out, they've gone mad. And it's like since then I've not had not one that's done anything like that. Like Run These Roads or the JDZ Medias that I did at the time, or Down, 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 that song. So things like that. But I know that when I'm listening to them songs, I think my songs that I've got 20 times or 1,000 times better than them ones. So it's like I'm just at the point where I'm thinking like, yeah, just drop it. Don't be too like harsh on yourself. Don't make it have to be this certain level. Just even if it's a phone video, just drop it, put it on TikTok, be more consistent with it. And then I tried that towards the end of last year, and then I thought, right, well, I'm now gonna actually invest a bit more into it than what I've done before this year. So now instead of coming into the year dropping 15 tracks or a mixtape and then so many videos in the first 2 months, I've just done one feature. I've got 2 videos done, but instead of just rushing out, I'm taking my time. I'm going to invest in it more and see if that works. Got some decent features. I'm going to get myself about like the way I did before the TV and before Lord of the Mics, and then it will work, bro, because that's how it worked before. Do you know what I'm saying? I've just got to roll with the same
100%.
mentality and move the same way.
And
It'll work.
I think sometimes it's, you know, when you make something, you want to get it out there. So like you said, when you drop so many tracks, sometimes the really strong ones can get lost because you put so much out there, but actually holding it back and putting it out there with a strong video and limiting the releases over time, I think that's going to go huge for you because I'm seeing your Insta and stuff and you're doing a madness at the moment. The comments are consistent, people reacting to your stuff, you know?
Yeah, my only problem is I need like for example, you know Gecko,
Yeah.
right? So oh, not it wasn't Gecko anyway. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up. Right, so no, but you know Gecko's got a friend in the industry who's very big. I think he's called Am or something like that. Am, something like that, Asian brother, and he's mates with Ardads, and Ardads is there playing music to this Am. And Am's pretty much said, "Yo, bro, like, are you crazy? You have to drop this song. Like, this is the one." So it's like his friend said to him, "This is it." He thought it was shit. He was never gonna release it, and he's like, "Yo, you have to drop that." So then he's done a video to that one, and that's that Habibdi one, the biggest one he's ever had. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
insane.
I feel like there's that's one of my problems as well, where I think like I don't even know which one's the one now, but it's there. I feel like I've got it 10 times over, and someone needs to kind of come around and be like, look, that's the one that you need to focus on. That's kind of where I'm at. I feel like I'd like to see what having a manager's like for a little bit as well. This is where I'm at now, I think. So because I've done, like I said, I've done it all on my own to this point. So it's like let's team up with someone and see what they can do to help as well at the same time.
I think with you, a manager would be good in a sense of helping you with a direction to go in. But I think for you, the fact that you're independent is a strong thing. Because I think you need that kind of creativity. You need to be able to release things on your terms
Yeah,
and
yeah,
when you want. Because I mean, I've written down here that when you look at your videos, like you can see how creative you are. And I think you would feel quite restricted if you had a label saying, "Nah, we don't want you doing this. We want you going in this direction." And
yeah, yeah.
you
No,
know,
you're right, bro. I guess even with like I've been when I've been in certain situations where there's been investment, it's like, oh, the next song has to be the one, and then in my head I can't record anything, and then I'm like sending songs to the people that I was working with at the time, and then I don't think they kind of knew what they were doing really, and with to do with music either. So they would be like, oh, I don't feel that one and things like that, and it was all just a bit confusing. So I feel like if I work with someone, they have to proper know what they're doing with music, and maybe, well, they have to have done things before as well.
you know, I don't know if you watched any of the intro I did with Wiley, but he actually we were talking about this, and he said that he feels so much more free now, almost as an artist, when he doesn't have a label going over him saying, "Right, you're going down the mainstream path." You know, he kind of lost sight of what he came into the industry for, and I think that's where with you, I think if you just have that complete control, I think that's perfect for you. And then a manager to kind of open doors and say, right, let's try this, let's try that, but on your terms.
Yeah, I respect Wiley a lot. Obviously, it's the fact that, but there's another thing towards it. Obviously, he's done what every one of us would want to achieve.
Mm.
So to then be able to, like, he risked it all to say his own opinion, which is freedom of speech. Do you know what I'm saying? So then he's finished. Not he ain't finished, but I mean, like, on that industry way, that the way that people want to be or whatever,
Of
you can
course,
say he's
yeah.
finished. But obviously, he's not finished because he's got hardcore fans like myself and millions of others and thousands that I know that obviously bang out his music daily. So obviously, he's far from finished.
No,
But then at the
I
same
know, I know
time,
exactly what you mean with
but then
that.
I've got a goal which I don't even want to speak about because it'd be ruined before it even started. But the path I need to take is kind of, I can't even have freedom of speech right now. Do you know what I'm saying, bro? Even though
Yeah.
that's who I am, but there's an end goal. So let's see if that happens. That's
Mate,
the
well, we'll
plan.
have to do another interview near that time, and then we can
That's
talk
it,
about
man.
it. Just so people can get to know you a little bit better, I've got 10 random questions where I'm going to give you an option between two things, and you just have to pick your preference over those two things.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's just to get to, they're all literally most random things. So,
That's it.
UFC or boxing,
Boxing,
Nando's or Five Guys,
Nando's,
Jordans or Air Forces,
Air Force,
nice, clubbing or a pub.
clubbing.
Mate, I thought you were a bit of a pub guy. I don't know
I
why.
got. Do you know what it is? I only drink Magnums, and they don't sell them there. So you won't actually there, bro. If they sold Magnums, I'd chill in that pub more time every day. But
uh,
yeah,
theme
you
park,
won't see me in a pub, brother. Honestly,
a theme park or go karting.
go karting. But I kind of had my head turned a little bit the other year when I went to a theme park. Cause I hate roller coasters, but then I went on one and it made me kind of change my mind a little bit. But it's at this point, it's still go karting,
Go
definitely, man.
karting. A chain or a nice watch.
Nice watch.
Yeah, you got one. Well, I've been seeing your one that you got on now. That's
Bro,
banging.
just the G-Shock, bro. You know,
Yeah.
that's all I've got. G-Shocks in it, different colors and Casio, and yeah, man.
A meal with your family or cinema with your friends.
Meal with my family.
Jaeger bomb or Sambuca shot, but that's irrelevant to you because you told me what you drink.
Yeah, I can't. Well, none of them. They both get turned down. Do you know what? People give me shots all the time, and then I take them like, yeah, respect it. I go like that. There's times of even they're like, go on then, and I've had to think I'd just keep it in my mouth or spit it out, bro. But I'll take it and just give it to someone else, a random. I'll literally turn around like, here, bro, and they're like, oh, cheers. That's what I do,
man. Kim Kardashian or Nicki Minaj?
Nicki Minaj.
Do you prefer a takeaway or do you prefer to cook?
I like cooking, brother. It's
Really?
one of I cook. Yeah, it's the only thing that stops me like smoking and stuff other than music. So it's just like because I'll do it for hours and then I'll realize I ain't done anything else other than that for hours. And that's obviously it's kept my attention going. So I like doing it, man.
Well, so what's this year looking like for you? So what can we expect from you, and what's next in the terms of releases and upcoming projects?
I feel like I've always been a competitive person, and it's been always like clashes, things like that. And I feel like, but like I say, I've loved music since I was a kid, so I'll continue putting out music the way I have, with a bit of a twist. And then I'm going back to my ways where it was like it's me or no one at that point. I don't really care. So it's like, as a clash MC, if you want to call it that, I'm gonna be exciting, bro, entertaining, and I'm gonna go for people if I have to, bro. 'Cause it's people have an easy ride, bro, isn't it, man? And I'm gonna be entertaining. Like, that's it, I think. Really.
When people watch this interview, they're going to think, "Who's this bellend in the blazer interviewing Foss?" But like, one thing I'll
Nah, I
explain
don't know
to you
you
is,
by now, bro. That's what I mean. I'd seen of you before. I just obviously I'd not followed you, but I'd
yeah,
seen
yeah.
it on YouTube. But sometimes you just don't really clock on, like, or go subscribe, or then watch every one of them. Like, sometimes, like you said, if you get an interview with someone, they'll watch that one and not another one. But then after so long, bro, it's like becomes a daily thing.
But for me, it's when I interview someone, it's I have to. So if people look at my profile now, they'll see I have a lot of reality stars, mainstream people. But for such a long time, I've just listening to your music. I had so much respect, and I wanted to do an interview because I think you honestly stand out so much as an artist, and I don't think there's anyone out there like you. And I do think you've got that drive, and like it doesn't matter what obstacles are thrown at you, bro. You just get back up, and I think you're gonna absolutely blow. So thank you so much for giving me the time to actually interview, because I really appreciate it.
No, it's my pleasure, bro. Honestly, it's a blessing, brother. Trust me. I'm on
Thank you
this,
so
bro.
much.
Getting it, man.